Okay, good evening, everyone. First of all, I want to thanks to Miss Neni for giving us opportunity to presenting the two material of genre of explaining and connective and connective words. And here I am, Ragil Akbar Wijaya, as the moderator of this presentation, and they are other three member of this 8 group of my friend, which is Reksa, Aditya, Marvayra, and then Mochammad Rizki. Of course, let's get to the case. I will start from the genre of explaining material. All right, the first material will be explaining by Mochammad Rizki. And to Mochammad Rizki, please.
Okay, thank you, Ragil. So the first is, what is genre of genre of explaining? What is it? So the genre of explaining is a fundamental language function for understanding the world and how it operates. The process of explaining is used to logically sequence the way that our environment physically function, as well as understanding and interpreting why cultural and intellectual ideas and concepts prevail. An explanation text gives you information about a subject that you are interested in and would like to know more about. And the next is purpose. The purpose is it is written to explain how and why something in the world happened. It is about action rather than about things. Explanation plays a valuable role in building and storing our knowledge. Technical and scientific writing are often expressed in this form. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Muhammad Rizky, for delivering the material of the first two of material from explain the genre of explaining. All right, next we will continue the presentation by Marvayra, which is types of explaining. To Marvayra, please.
All right, thank you, Ragil. So here I would like to explain the types of explanation. So types explanation has two types. The first one is explanation of how. So this one is explain or how something works. It may be mechanical explaining, like how motor works, and technologically describing how a computer works, or natural when describing how avalanches occur. And the second one is explanation of why. It explains why things happen. For example, why objects expand and contract, and why bedroom mirrors mess up when we shower. And then the next slide, the structure one, yeah. Okay, thank you. For the structure, if you're gonna make text, we have a title, and then the second one is general statement introducing or identifying the phenomenon, series of sequence paragraphs and concluding paragraph, and then the last one is label, diagrams, and flowcharts. Why we need a label, diagrams, or flowchart? Because explanation text often include diagram, pictures, or charts to help us understand, and we always have a title, and pictures will always have a caption underneath. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you to Marvayra with the explanation about structure and types of explanation and structure. And the last one is Reksa will continue to describing and explaining the genre of explaining. To Reksa Aditya, please.
Okay, Ragil, thanks for the opening. So I will explain about the second structure that explanation texts have. Uh, excuse me. So the first is an explanation text usually starts with a statement that introduces the subject or topic to the reader. Or in short, is the main idea is the beginning of the text. For example, you can explain the first about fruit or about animals, and then the next there's come a series of steps that explain how things happen or the reason why. Or the short is the explanation of the main idea. So the first maybe you can tell why is rain, and then down you can tell the steps of the rain why it's happened. And these steps continue until the questions or the explanation has been answered or is complete. Thank you.
All right, thank you to Reksa, which explaining to us about the structure, the second structure of the genre of explaining. And then maybe I will complete the rest of the explanation of this material, which is, can I see the next slide, guys, please? And then you can, and then when you use a genre of explaining, you will need the language features, such as use a present tense, use a complex noun groups to build detail, use abstract noun, use pronouns, and the rest of it you can see in the PowerPoint on this video. Okay. That, and then maybe you can you can switch to the next slide, guys. And then you will need another language features such as use a connective spelling sequence, which is we will explain in the next PowerPoint, and use a passive voice and normalization, use a time conjunction, and the last is use a technical terms or word change about the subject. Example, like this example. All right, maybe that's it, or any other explanation from one of you guys,
That's enough for me.
right? If this enough, we will continue to our next material, which is connective. Okay, and then a lot of connective sample, which is will be explained by the other of my friend. And maybe the first of connective will be explained by Marvayra, please.
Okay, thank you, Ragil. So here, there are types of connective. So the first one, I'm gonna tell about the adding of connective. So these are used when we want to add ideas together that agree with each other or are about the same thing. For the example of the word is and, also, as well as, moreover, and too. For example of the sentence, I like cheese. I also like sausage. So this sentence I use also as the connectives. And then the second one, next slide. Okay, the second one is sequencing connectives. So these are used when we want to list ideas in a certain order. For example of the word, there are next, then, first, second, third, finally, meanwhile, eventually, after, and before. So for the example of the sentence is, I cut cheese. Finally, I cook the sausage. So for the sentence, use finally as the connective. And then the third one is, next slide. The third one is emphasizing connective. So these are used when we want to stress a point as a being very important. For example of the word are above all, in particular, especially, significantly, indeed, and notably. So for this example of the sentence is, I like cheese, in particular cheddar. So we use in particular as the emphasizing connectives. Okay, I think that's enough from me. Thank you.
All right, thank you to Marvayra, who has been explaining to us about the adding, scanning, and emphasizing connective. And the next part will be explaining by Reksa Aditya. Reksa Aditya, please continue.
Okay, so the next one is comparing connectives, which the example is equally, in the same way, similarly, likewise, as with, and like. So these connectives are used when you want to compare ideas that are similar or the same as each other. So the sentences example is like, I like cheese, equally, I like sausage. And for the next is cause and effect connectives. So they are used when you want the second part of your sentence to help explain the first part. The second part happens as a result of the first. The example of the word is because, so, therefore, thus, and consequently. The sentences example is like, I like cheese, therefore I ate the cheese. And the next is qualifying connectives. These are used when the first idea in your sentence relies on the second part happening. The example word is however, although, except, if, as long as. The sentence example is I'll cut the cheese as long as you get the knife. I think that's all from me. Thank you.
All right, thank you to Rex Aditya, who has been explaining to us about comparing cause and effect and qualifying connective. And then the last two of the connective will be explained by Mochammad Rizki. To Mochammad Rizki, please continue.
Okay, thank you, Ragil. So, is illustrating connective. These are used when you want to give an example to back up the first part of your sentence. Those words as for example, such as for intensity, as revealed by, in the case of. And the example is I like cheese, such as cheddar and red Leicester. And next, please. So the next is contrasting connectives. There are used when you have two ideas in your sentence that do not agree with each other. Those words are whereas instead of alternatively, otherwise, unlike, on the other hand. The example, I like cheese. On the other hand, I do not like tomatoes. So maybe that's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you to Mochammad Rizki, who has been explaining to us about the last two of illustrating and contrasting. And I will take a note from you. I will take a note from you that you has been explained that connectives are the two words or phrase that links clauses. Connective are the word of phrase that links clauses or sentence to make logical connection between different pieces of information. Maybe that's it for us. And you can discuss more about the two material who has been we discussed for the next appointment. Maybe that's it for me, and that's it for us. I will. Maybe that's it. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.